Have you ever wanted to recreate the iconic New York style bagel at home? This recipe is for you. With a thin, crispy crust and a chewy interior, these homemade bagels mimic the very best New York has to offer, but in your own home kitchen. Let's get started. To start, add 3.5 cups bread flour to the bowl of a stand mixer. This dough can also be mixed and kneaded by hand. Add in brown sugar, then salt and yeast. Either active dry yeast or instant yeast may be used. See the recipe notes for differences that may need to be made in the recipe. Stir together with the dough hook, then stream in warm water. Ensure the water is no hotter than 105 degrees Fahrenheit, or it may kill the yeast, resulting in dry, dense bagels. Continue mixing the dough until it comes together around the dough hook. If the dough is sticking to the sides or bottom of the bowl, add a little bit more flour, 1 tablespoon at a time, up to ½ cup more. Knead the dough for 10 to 15 minutes. I use the KitchenAid mixer at speed 2 until the dough is smooth and elastic. The dough will be somewhat dry and stiff. After 10 minutes of kneading, perform the window pane test to ensure the dough is ready. We use the window pane test to check dough for proper gluten development. Pinch off a small piece of dough, try not to tear it. Form the dough into a small smooth ball and slowly pull the dough out from the center. If the dough is ready, you'll be able to stretch it until it's thin and translucent like a window pane. If the dough tears, it's not quite ready. Put back into the bowl and knead for 1 minute more and test again. Repeat this process until the dough passes the window pane test. Once the dough is ready, pour a small amount of olive oil or vegetable oil into a large bowl to allow the dough to proof. I like to use a glass bowl so I can check the dough's progress easily. Spread the oil around the bowl so there's a thin layer on all sides. Form the dough into a smooth, tight ball. Add the dough to the ball and turn to coat all sides in a thin layer of oil. Cover the bowl with plastic wrap or a damp kitchen towel and let the dough rise in a warm spot for 1 hour or until the dough has doubled in size. Once the dough has risen, remove the plastic wrap or towel and punch down the dough to remove the air. Cover again and let it rest for another 10 minutes. Turn the dough out onto a lightly floured work surface. Using a bench scraper or a sharp knife, divide the dough into 8 equal pieces. You can either eyeball this or use a kitchen scale to weigh each piece to get identical sized bagels. Shape each piece into a smooth ball, placing each tight ball on a lightly floured work surface and covering with a damp towel as soon as they are formed. This helps prevent them from drying out and a skin from forming on the outside. To form each ball into a tight, smooth ball, cup your hand around the dough in a C shape. Place some pressure on the ball while rolling it against the counter. This tension will help create the smooth, tight shape we are looking for. Repeat this with the remaining pieces. Once all 8 rounds have been formed, dip your index finger in flour and gently press your finger into the center of each dough ball to poke a hole. Stretch the hole to about 2 inches in diameter and place the formed bagels on a parchment-lined cookie sheet no more than 3 to 4 to a tray. Repeat this process with the remaining dough. After shaping the bagels, cover with plastic wrap or a damp kitchen towel and allow to rest for 15 minutes. If you will be baking the bagels the next day, place them in the fridge overnight. If you are baking the bagels the same day, skip the fridge and allow them to rest on the counter for 1 to 1.5 hours. Preheat your oven to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. Bring a large pot of water to a boil. Add in the brown sugar, stirring it to dissolve. Using a slotted spoon or a skimmer, lower the bagels one at a time into the boiling water. Boil no more than 4 bagels at one time. The bagels will float after a couple of seconds. Allow them to boil for 2 minutes and then flip them over to boil for another minute on the other side. Use a slotted spoon or a skimmer to lift the boiled bagels one at a time out of the water. Place on a parchment-lined baking sheet. Brush all sides of the bagels with lightly whisked egg white. Dip each bagel into toppings if desired. Bake the bagels at 450 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 to 25 minutes or until a golden brown. Remove from the oven and cool on a wire rack until they're cool enough to handle. Slice the bagels, top with cream cheese and lox, butter, or jam, and enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more baking recipes. And visit KICKASSBAKER.com for the full recipe, along with a printable recipe, and tips and tricks for baking the very best homemade New York style bagels in your own kitchen.